You are the rain, you are the sky. Your yellow rays and burning fire. You're every song that fills my mind. You're a temple full of holy wine. I'm gonna love you till the well runs dry. I'm gonna give you all I have inside. All my days for all of time. I'm gonna love you till the well runs dry. If heavy dark clouds are right and we get hard to recognize, I'll be the first one there to fight. I won't stop reaching till I find the light. I'm gonna love you till the well runs dry. I'm gonna give you all I have inside. All my days for all of time. I'm gonna love you till the well runs dry. All the air in me breathes for all of you. The current of your love runs through mine, twisting like a storm, taking all of me. Words will always be intertwined. I'm gonna love you till the well runs dry. Holding your hand till we close our eyes. All my days for all of time. I'm gonna love you till the well runs dry.
To the end of the ceremony. Let's go. Look around us, there ain't no fences, just bridges to the ears of the listeners. On deck, take a swing, sharper senses, looking for a weakness in the system. Finally, it's you and me, here shaking like a tambourine. We in this finally, both sides of the cemetery. Attention people, y'all get ready. This is for everybody.
Merciful and gracious is the Lord, slow to anger and abounding in kindness. Not according to our sins does he deal with us, nor does he requite us according to our crimes. As a father has compassion on his children, so the Lord has compassion on those who fear him. For he knows how we are formed. He remembers that we are dust. Man's days are like those of grass, like a flower in the field he blooms. The wind sweeps over him and he is gone, and his place knows him no more. But the kindness of the Lord is from eternity to eternity towards those who fear him, and his justice towards children's children among those who keep his covenant and remember to fulfill his precepts. The Lord is kind and merciful.
Moi, Harry, je te reçois Caroline comme épouse, et je te promets de te rester fidèle dans le bonheur et dans les épreuves, dans la santé et dans la maladie, pour t'aimer tous les jours de ma vie.
I, Caroline, take you, Harry, for my lawful husband, to have and to hold, from this day forward, for better, for worse, for richer, for poorer, in sickness and in health, until death do us apart.
Caroline, reçois cette alliance, signe de mon amour et de ma fidélité, au nom du Père, du Fils et du Saint-Esprit.
In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, Harry, take and wear this ring as a sign of my love and faithfulness.
Allez!
Je ressens en te regardant une fierté incroyable. Je te sais forte, dégourdie, très organisée et par ailleurs enjouée, créative, pleine d'esprit, drôle, intelligente. Tu es parfaite.
Mais cela, c'est grâce à ton frère, bien entendu.
Impossible.
Tellement de bons moments passés ensemble que je ne saurais en choisir un en particulier. Bien sûr, quelquefois, nos deux caractères se sont affrontés. Mais c'est bien normal. C'était ta manière de t'affirmer.
Tu as surtout fait les 400 coups dans le dos de maman.
Balance.
Les sorties en douce. Les imitations de signatures sur le cahier de correspondance. Mais déjà un faible pour l'Angleterre. Ou dès le collège, après un séjour linguistique à Londres, dans le train qui te ramenait près de maman, tu trouves le moyen de déclencher l'alarme incendie pour rester coûte que coûte sur cette île. Mais je n'en dirai pas plus ce soir, car ce soir, c'est ton soir. Depuis qu'Harry est rentré dans ta vie, je sens que tu t'es épanouie.
Bien sûr, je suis triste de savoir que tu n'es plus une enfant. Te voilà en train d'écrire un nouveau chapitre de ta vie avec une famille qui s'agrandit. J'ai confiance en Harry. Vous êtes très complémentaires. Je sais, Harry, que tu prendras soin d'elle.
Caroline Appleton?
Ça sonne bien, c'est joli.
Et ça lui va très bien.
Vive les mariés!
Thank you very much, Harry. I always knew your speech would be hard to follow, and I was right, because I could hardly follow a word.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Adam, and this is Will, and together we're Harry's best men. Harry assures us that there are two of us here today because we were too difficult to tell apart from the role. But in honesty, I think he looked around at his friendship group, sighed, and realised he'd have to settle for two fairly good men rather than having a best man. Now, I know that's a terrible opening joke, but considering I've been serving you all champagne for the last 3 hours, I was hoping for a bit of a better laugh. Say that, sorry. No, this one's not working. Hopefully, the French contingent are a bit more polite. Bonsoir, mesdames et messieurs. Tout d'abord, merci pour votre accueil à Apt. Je m'appelle Adam et je vous présente William. Nous sommes les témoins d'Harry. Nous remercions par avance la personne qui ne parle pas anglais pour la patience lors des prochaines 10 minutes. Mais rassurez-vous, nous ne sommes pas si drôles que ça, donc vous n'allez rien rater.
Give a round of applause for Adam. Now, before we start, the customary duty of giving Harry a very uncomfortable few minutes. On behalf of the wedding party and the guests, we firstly want to thank Harry and Caroline, along with their respective families, for what a fantastic day this has been. It is truly an honour for us to stand up here today as the best men. We are delighted for you both and are so glad you can celebrate this day with the friends and the family who have travelled from far and wide. They are all here to wish you well, and it is a testament to you both that the people you surround yourself with will travel this far for a free bar. They are all here to wish you well, and it is a... oh no, sorry. We would also like to take this opportunity to thank a few people who, on the face of it, may seem to have had a fairly easy day. However, they have had to cope with the difficulties of standing around pouting and looking pretty. They've spent an awful lot of time on their hair, makeup and outfits, and without them, this day just wouldn't have been the same. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the ushers. Thank you so much, lads. I really don't know how people would have known to sit on the chairs in the church without you. In all seriousness, we would actually like to thank the ushers and the bridesmaids for today. I'm sure you'll agree they've done a brilliant job and they all look fantastic.
Harry and Caroline met 6 years ago at Yacht Week, a sailing holiday around Croatia. Now Harry, you may not want to talk about Yacht Week, but we certainly do. We have no doubt that Caroline looked as beautiful as she does today the first time they met, but we can't help but feel she may have been deceived by our good friend Harry. The reason for this was the 6 months that came before Yacht Week, or Yachters as it became affectionately known, where Harry, and indeed the other 7 lads on the trip, went nil by mouth and up their gym regimes to twice a day. Every day. The boys got so serious about looking good for Yachters that Harry even went to the extreme of creating a recurring reminder in his phone at 3 p.m. every day. When it rang, the message that came with it said, "Don't do it, Yachters." When questioned about said reminder, Harry admitted that 3 p.m. was about the time he used to enjoy a cup and tea and biscuit at work. And this was the only way he could remember to fight the temptation to make sure he was in good shape for the trip. What an athlete. However, I'm afraid the deceit did not just stop with what he looked like. Having seen each other from afar, and after multiple drinks, a tanned and stacked Harry, a sunburnt and in better shape Harry, finally plucked up the courage to go and talk to Caroline. After introductions, Caroline asked Harry what he did for a living, to which he replied, "Oh, it's quite boring really. I'm currently the marketing manager for a global company up in London." Not a bad job, particularly considering he was a landscape gardener's assistant in Bolney. I'm still not really sure how he got to be here today, particularly as to top it all off, he was also wearing this. Maybe you put it on, Harry.
Oh yeah, do it!
Put it on, Harry, come on.
Come on!
As with the first time they met, Harry has never been the most confident, particularly when it comes to women, and has often relied on alcohol to quell his fears. As his friends, this is something we've never really understood. Not the confidence thing.
Oh wait.
As his friends, this is something we've never really understood. Not the confidence thing, but the alcohol, as Harry isn't the best at handling his drink. And this has often led to Harry finding himself in some pretty sticky situations. Through being Harry's friends by default, this has also led to us finding ourselves in situations we wouldn't usually expect to be in, and also having to find our way out of them. We've had to be pretty inventive over the years, from coming up with elaborate cover stories to pulling down trees at the Appletons with tow ropes. On behalf of Harry, we are so sorry, Andy Nanjer, but that wasn't a tree blown in the wind that did that to the windscreen of his Defender.
Too far? It is not just us, but also our parents who have been brought into Harry's alcohol-induced escapades. Back when we were 18, as was customary for every Thursday night during the summer holidays, a group of us descended into Brighton for a night out. Being 4 years our junior, my brother had organised to go to the cinema with friends, and that Mum would pick him up when his showing ended at 10:30. To save time, they had agreed that Mum would stop in the Brighton taxi rank for him to jump in, rather than park the car. As Mum pulled into the taxi rank at 10:30, she was shocked to see such a drunk man stagger to the first taxi, given how early in the evening it was. She watched as he was denied carriage from the first taxi, the second, and the third, and before she knew what was happening, the back door of her car opened and a man slumped in. Through a hiccup, he said,
"Bolney, please."
Through fear of having an unknown drunken man in the back of the car, Mum rather hastily tried to explain that she was not a taxi, she was waiting for her son at being in the cinema and... "Hang on a minute," she said. "Is that you, Harry Appleton?" Harry looked her up and down and through one eye simply replied,
Sue Jones, since when did you start driving Brighton taxis? Can you take me home, please? All joking aside, Harry, we want to say what a privilege it is to be up here today as your best men. We have both known you for a very long time, and as you can imagine, we have plenty more stories that we could share here today. Unfortunately, most of these stories actually include us. And as we don't want to tarnish our impeccable reputations, these stories are going to stay firmly in our past. You are a true friend who has always been there for so many of us over the years, and we truly value your generosity and kindness. You fully deserve a wife as fantastic as Caroline, but don't forget, you're a lucky man, H. Caroline, you are beautiful, smart, funny, loving and caring, and we couldn't have picked a better woman to marry our friend. You have made some huge sacrifices to make your relationship with Harry work, and we are all so grateful to you for this. The happiness, friendship and bond that the two of you share is clear to everyone here today. It is such an exciting time for you both, and we look forward to being a part of your lives along with having you and ours for many years to come. On a personal note, we would also like to give a special mention to Harry's family. Put the camera down, Andy. A special mention to Harry's family. Andy, Andrea, Alex and Gareth. Pay attention, Gareth. The commitment and effort you have put into us through time spent on the sideline of a rugby pitch to the hospitality of welcoming us into your home and fridge is immeasurable. We cannot describe how genuinely grateful we and the rest of our group of friends are to you for this. Caroline, I can confidently and positively say that you couldn't have wished for a better and more supportive set of in-laws. Now, Andy's jokes may leave you a little bit to be desired, but I'm sure you already know that, because like father, like son, eh?
The final thing for us to do is give you some advice for future married life. However, as neither of us are married, we decided to turn to the poet Ogden Nash. To keep your marriage brimming with love in the wedding cup, whenever you're wrong, admit it, whenever you're right, shut up.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be upstanding. And raise your glasses to Mr. and Mrs. Appleton.
Of the hour. I'm now going to hand you over to the newly married Mr. Harry Appleton. You don't mind? No, it's not working, is it? Thank you. Oh, alors. Bonsoir tout le monde. Je m'appelle Harry.
J'ai 29 ans, j'habite en Angleterre, j'ai une sœur, un chien qui s'appelle Hector, et maintenant une épouse. Ce soir, je regrette de ne pas avoir suivi plus sérieusement mes leçons de français à l'école. Cependant, une des premières leçons que j'ai apprises au Ramad il y a 6 ans, c'est que au Ramad, on parle français, pas anglais. N'est-ce pas Jean-Marcel, mais je ne sais pas, il est où? Je voudrais commencer par tous vous remercier d'être venus partager ce jour spécial avec nous. Merci à tous les membres de la famille et les amis, et en particulier Marthe de nous recevoir ici dans cette superbe maison. Faire connaissance avec la famille et faire partie petit à petit les 6 dernières années ont été génial. Je pense que je commence à peine à avoir rencontré tous les gigous, bien que je suis certain qu'il y a d'autres cousines cachées quelque part. J'espère que maintenant, même si je suis anglais, je suis devenu une valeur ajoutée et non une simple pièce rapportée. Trêve de plaisanterie et mettons de côté l'humour anglais pour un moment. Dès le premier jour, tout le monde m'a fait me sentir une partie de la famille et je vous en serai toujours reconnaissant. Une chose dont je suis certain, c'est que bien que Caroline a changé de nom pour Appleton, enfin je l'espère, elle sera toujours une gigou. Maintenant, si vous le permettez, je vais continuer en anglais. Ah, yes! Easy! Easy! Okay, that's better. I don't think anyone's going to forget this wedding in a while, right? So before I start this, the English section of the speech, I think it's important to put everyone at ease so they can enjoy the rest of what is to come. As we're all aware, there are many sensitive subjects nowadays that are affecting the Anglo-European relationships. I thought it best to avoid such topics, so I'm pleased to confirm in the next 10 minutes there'll be no mention of the following. The first subject, of course, that will be avoided at all costs is Brexit. Sorry, I'm not going to say anything. The second subject, this is quite ironic now, is the French air traffic control strikes. I think at the moment, yeah, it's the UK strikes, RAPI, isn't that right, that have caused some issues? So no mention of that. However, the most controversial subject of them all, that I will definitely not be mentioning in the rest of the speech tonight, is something called the Yacht Week. To begin with this evening, I would like to say a huge thank you to each and every one of you who've made it here today to celebrate with us. We've got guests who've travelled all the way over from France, the UK, thanks for bringing the weather today, Ireland, Switzerland, Morocco, and from as far afield as Bahrain and Dubai. It means a great deal to Caroline and I that you're all here to celebrate this special day in person with us, and we really do appreciate the effort you've all gone to be here with us. Next up, I'd like to say a massive thank you to Caro's family. Hopefully they were able to understand my limited French earlier, but just to be safe, I wanted to give thanks for all their help with the organisation of this wedding, especially today in the fallout of what we've seen when we came back to it. So thank you very much for that. Allowing 60 plus Brits into your family home is a very brave decision. And English crew, please note this is my chance to prove to the rest of the family that we're not all beer drinking hooligans. So best behaviour, please. Yeah, I know. Second, I want to thank all of Carrie's family and stress that I will always be grateful for how you've welcomed me in and made me feel part of your family over the past 6 years. I can't pretend that I wasn't a little overwhelmed at my first French Christmas when Caroline informed me that we would only be 90 for Christmas lunch. However, it didn't take me long to realise what a special family this is, and I look forward to getting to know each and all of you even better in the future. Romain and Ludivine, I'm pleased today that, as of today, I can officially be called Tonton Harry to Sasha and Mai. Romain, I know how much Caroline adores her older brother and how regularly she reaches out to you for guidance. I also know that she does not get to see you as much as she would like, but hopefully once this wedding's out of the way and it all calms down, we can come out to see you a bit more often in France. Maybe one day I might even be able to join you on one of your famous moto tours that Caro always talks about. Although this is most likely to be in a sidecar with Caro actually riding the motorbike. Because the recent motorbike lesson that Caro offered me for my birthday was a little bit harder than expected. I don't think I made it out of first gear in a car park, did I? It was slightly awkward. Annie, I'd like to say thank you for all your help in leading up to today. I can only imagine what went through your head when Caroline told you that she'd met an English boy. But thank you for all you've done for Caroline and I since we first met. From helping us move into flats into the UK, to supporting Caroline when she made her difficult decision to leave her job to study for a master's in Brighton. I have to say that asking for your permission to propose to Caroline remains one of the most stressful moments of my life. I wasn't sure if the French I had rehearsed even made sense, but I went for it anyway. Fortunately, I didn't have to wait too long for your response. The massive hug you gave me and the smile on your face convinced me that firstly, the message I was trying to get across had been understood, and most importantly, permission had been granted. You are clearly an incredibly strong and positive person, and you've done an amazing job bringing up both Caroline and Romain. I want to let you know that I will always take care of your daughter, and I will do everything in my power to ensure she is loved, safe, and happy at all times. Now on to the bridesmaids, or as they say in French, les témoins. Firstly, I must say, you all look amazing, especially you, Mathieu. There we are. To ensure I'm not still speaking at midnight, I won't run through you all individually. However, I'd like to stress how important you all are to Caroline. You all know Caro from different stages of her life, and I'm well aware that she does not get to see you or her wider friendship group as often as she would like. She tells me that regularly in the UK. But she's so lucky to have such a great network of friends around her. Even if you don't realise it at the time, you all played a massive part in enabling our long-distance relationship to work. So a big thank you from us both for that. Oh yes, I should also say that Caroline seemed to have a great time on both her French and UK hen-dos. I was only shown a couple of pictures, which included a very interesting choice of outfit for the French hen-do, which Caro seemed to have a great time wearing. But anyway, I won't digress on that for the time being. Ushers, I suppose you guys look alright as well. Clearly not as good as the bridesmaids, but a close second. Thank you for all your support in the run-up to today, and yeah, especially today, you guys have been absolutely amazing. You've helped out with putting the tent up, and then today, obviously, you kept calm. We could have easily lost our minds, I think, and you guys have been crazy running around, so thank you so much for that. Bravo! Having known most of you from the age of 13 and one of you from 6 years old, it's safe to say that we've been through a lot together. It means a great deal to have you playing a key part in this special day, and of course, I should say thank you for organising such a great stag do to Budapest. It goes without saying that what goes on tour stays on tour. But I think a good gauge of how much fun we have can be taken from the fact that it took two of our older tourists, my dad and Uncle Martin, not to mention any names, until halfway through the second day to realise that they had in fact flown into and had a night out in Budapest, the capital of Hungary, as opposed to where they thought they were, which was Bucharest, the capital of Romania. Don't worry, they were fined accordingly. Speaking of one of my parents, Mum and Dad, I'd like to say, well, here we are. Who would have thought that your painfully shy boy, who would only greet his own family members with a shake of a hand as opposed to a kiss, would be standing here today talking in front of a marquee full of people in 1.5 languages. I'll start by first saying that Dad, you look remarkably smart for a change. And Mum, as ever, you look absolutely beautiful. I want to take this chance to thank both of you for all you've done for Alex and I. From as early as I can remember, you've always done whatever possible to ensure that we had a childhood full of fun, and we always had the best possible chance of succeeding in whatever hobby or career we chose. For that, we'll always be grateful. Bringing us up, you provided us with enough freedom to learn from our own mistakes, which there were many, and found the perfect balance of never applying too much pressure on us, but also importantly reminding us of when we were selling ourselves short or not fulfilling our own potential. Lastly, and most importantly for me and Caro, as a couple in your own right, you've set a perfect example for us of what it truly means to be happily married. If Caro and I can be half as happy after 36 years of marriage, I think we'd definitely settle for that, right? And lastly, to wrap up, my family, a little word on my big sister, Alex. Alex, you've always been there and continue to be extremely protective of your darling younger brother. From looking out for me when we went to the same schools, which I have to admit was slightly embarrassing, up until the present day, you're always on hand to offer me your honest opinion and valuable advice. As I was writing this speech, one particular occasion came to mind. It was just over 6 years ago, where your protective side most definitely came out. Following a certain holiday in Croatia, that again will not be named, I informed my big sister that I'd met a French girl. She was so impressed by me that she wanted to fly over the following week to tell me something in person she couldn't possibly tell me by text or email. How exciting, I thought. Clearly doubting her brother's ability to speak to, let alone charm another person of the opposite sex, Alex automatically switched to big sister mode. Immediately, the interrogation started. What have you done, Harry? Who is this girl? Why does she want to meet you? Did she seem normal? Once I informed Alex I intended to meet with this girl at a bar at Gatwick Airport, I was presented with my favourite piece of advice. Well, if you are going to meet her, make sure it's in a public place with lots of other people around, just in case something happens. Still not quite sure what you thought was going to happen, but I noted the advice anyway. In hindsight, now we know who I was going to meet that day, and it was Caroline, by the way, in case any of you were doubting. And knowing how well you and Caro now get on, I think we can agree that we had nothing to be concerned about. In all seriousness, no, Alex, you are the best big sister a brother could ask for. And I'm so happy for you and Gareth with the exciting news that you have a baby on the way. I can't wait to see what the next few years have in store for both our couples. And I want you to know that me and Caro will always be there for you and Gareth if you need anything. But not too much babysitting. And last but not least, my wife. Sorry, my beautiful wife. Let me get the boring stuff out of the way, Caro. Firstly, I'd like to say you've done an amazing job at organising this wedding. You've planned for every possible outcome, except for the weather. The one thing we couldn't control, right? But literally, you've built this whole thing yourself. So let's have a round of applause for Caro. But to be fair, being a project manager by profession, you should be pretty good at this, right? Now, I still think that managing your own career, your own projects, managing this wedding, and me at the same time is definitely one of your most important achievements to date. Now for the more interesting section, Caro, which I think is giving me flashbacks to our marriage classes in the UK, which didn't end so well for our speeches, did it? So let's see if I make it through this time. But Caroline, I must say you look absolutely incroyable. Obviously, you're beautiful every day, but today I have to say you are particularly beautiful. And whilst I know it's cliche, I really do feel like I'm the luckiest man in the world tonight. And as we say in the UK, and as I was told multiple times last night by my own family, I'm most definitely punching above my own weight. I'm so proud and happy to be able to now officially call you my wife for the second time. And I'm grateful every day that we were lucky enough to meet that night/week in Croatia. Just gonna need to change the paper. I don't know if you feel the same, Caro, but for me, all we've been through as a couple the past 6 years makes today feel even more special. Luck was definitely on our side when we met. However, it was love we have for each other and pure determination that got us through what was to come. When you consider that since we met, you personally have lived at 9 different addresses in 3 countries. Collectively, we took over 100 flights in 3 years to see each other, and that we've lived in different countries for actually 3.5 years of the 6 years we have actually been together. Looking back, I have no idea quite how we did it. But then again, maybe living apart for 3.5 years is probably why we were so happy. Just a joke, we're very happy now. From the beginning, your positivity and commitment has always been unquestionable. And I'll never forget that you were willing to give up everything to move over to the UK on 2 occasions to give our relationship the best chance of succeeding. For that, Caro, I will always be in debt to you. And I probably owe you something there, like yourself. We need to move to Singapore tomorrow. No. Yeah. That night we met seems an awful long time ago now. Aside from your looks, which clearly speak for themselves, one of the first things I noticed that you were not quick to judge. An important thing for me, considering I was wearing a Primark Hawaiian shirt with pink flamingos and trying to impress you with my GCSE level French. I also noticed quickly your razor-sharp sense of humour and that you were someone who was happy not to take themselves too seriously at all. I thought, something about this girl I quite like, but I don't know what it is. Since that night, Caro, you've continued to amaze me on a daily basis. And over the last 6 years, I've learned what an intelligent, caring, and positive woman you are. I now find myself in a position where I'm not quite sure how I was able to function before without you in my life. You're always there to pick me up when I'm sulking. Very rarely, right? Calm me down when I'm stressing. The last few months in particular, and maybe this afternoon when we came back to this house. And you always remind me daily of my missions that I need to complete. You've definitely made me into a better human being, and I think that as a couple, we really do bring out the best in each other. Out of all the teams I've played in before, and I've played in a lot, I have to say that I think our team of 2 is by far the strongest team of them all. And as with all teams, if we are lucky enough, our squad will likely grow in the non-too-distant future. I have no doubt that when this day does come, you will make an amazing mother. Potentially quite strict, though. I'm going to be the good cop, you'll be the bad cop. Before we get there, however, Caro, let's make sure that we really do make every day count, and I'm so excited for what the future holds in store for both of us. Whilst impossible to predict exactly what will happen today, it's a perfect example of that, one thing I know for sure is that it will be a future full of fun, laughter, and always a lot of randomness. Therefore, unless I've forgotten any other thank yous, and it's too late now anyway, I'd like to wrap this up by proposing a toast. I hope everyone's got a drink. I haven't got a drink myself. But I'd like everyone to toast to my best friend. Yeah, let's do that again. Everyone got a drink? If you've got a drink, raise it up. Propose a toast to my best friend, my wife, and the new Mrs. Appleton.
Et ben moi, ouais, j'ai préparé un super truc là, ça fait 3 mois que je le prépare. Un truc tarpin gros quoi. Ouais, 4, 5, 6 pages même. Et par contre, maintenant que tu m'en parles, je sais pas où il est. Au fait, oh, je l'ai perdu.
Bon écoute, ben, c'est pas bien grave, hein. Normalement un discours ça commence toujours par des présentations. Donc ben, on va se présenter. Nous, c'est les Marseillais. Il y avait les Marseillais à Maï.
Les Marseillais à Cancun. Donc du coup, comme on vient tous les deux à Marseille, ce matin en venant ici, on a covoituré. On est venus ensemble et on a repensé à votre rencontre.
Eh oui, parce qu'au départ, Caro, quand elle nous a dit qu'elle avait rencontré un roast beef, qu'elle avait pécho un roast beef sur un bateau, on est un peu tombé sur le cul. Bon, on était quand même content qu'elle arrête de mettre des râteaux et qu'elle roule un peu des pelles.
Mais t'imagines toutes ces expressions françaises, comme il a dû les interpréter, Harry? Ça devait pas être facile au début, hein, parce qu'il devait piter que dalle.
Because tomber sur le cul.
En anglais, ça donne fall on the ass. Yes, sorry for our accent. Speak English is not our specialty.
Non mais, imagine le premier rendez-vous. Imagine.
Harry, je crois vraiment que j'ai le coup de foudre pour toi.
What? There is a storm?
Bon après, imagine quand elle lui a dit en fait, t'es le premier garçon qui me pose pas un lapin.
Other guys put a rabbit?
Ou encore quand elle lui a dit j'ai adoré comment tu m'as emballé. J'ai failli tomber dans les pommes.
Does you want unpacking some apples? Et quand il a ramené à la maison?
Et qu'elle lui a dit j'ai trop pris mon pied.
Alors là, il a vraiment dû se dire que les Français avaient des pratiques bizarres.
Bizarre, peut-être, mais notre Caro, elle a plusieurs cordes à son arc.
Elle est drôle, généreuse et attentionnée envers ses amis. Bref, il a mis en or.
En tout cas, la recette a bien marché. Et là, on parle pas de recette de cuisine. La mayonnaise est bien montée entre Harry et Caro. Et c'est pour ça qu'aujourd'hui, on est tous réunis autour de vous pour célébrer votre magnifique mariage.
Caro, on est vraiment très heureux pour toi que tu aies trouvé chaussures à ton pied.
Harry, la belle, est dans ton camp.
On vous souhaite énormément de bonheur sur votre petit nuage.
Your
Little cloud forever.